Hello and welcome to the second episode of In the Studio with me, Donny Carr. So on this episode, I wanted to give you five kind of nifty little features in FL Studio 12 that I find myself using a lot that I think are fairly unknown and I think that you will benefit from. So let's get right into it with tip number one, and that is how to increase your zoom in the arrangement window. And I definitely have used this before, especially, for example, if I'm layering kicks, I want to make sure they're in phase, and I need to get like really up close and personal. This is how you increase that. So you go to Options, you go to General Settings, it's in the Project tab. Um, by default, it's set to 96, and PPQ stands for pulses per quarter note. Um, for 95% of the time, 96 is just fine. But if you do need to increase the zoom for anything, which does happen, you just do it right here. So, for instance, on my side chain trigger for the kick, this is how far I can zoom in on 96. It's just not enough. I need more. I need more zoom. To increase that zoom, boom, let's go to 384. There you go. And it does, the more you increase it, the more your CPU is going to take a hit. So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, that's how you do that. And it's a nifty little tip. Number two, checking my notes here, is the lock function on the mixer and channel rack. So this is super cool if you don't know about it. All you do is you hit shift and then click whatever track you want to lock. So if it's on, it's going to lock it on. If it's off, you can click it off and it'll stay locked. So if you have a part that you are not sure about and you just want to mute it for a second, but you don't want it to be affected, so you can unmute, mute, tracks at will, and that will stay the same. That's how you do that. And that also works in the channel rack as well. So you can do it there too. Boom, boom. And to undo the lock, you just hit shift, click it again. So super simple. Number three is the smart disable function. Um, this is useful just to save CPU. So when a plugin isn't being utilized, then it just shuts off. And as soon as input's going into it, then it turns on. Um, each plugin can be switched on and off manually by this little drop down window here, and you just select it or deselect it. And this one is selected. You can do it globally as well for all of the plugins you have in your track. Say you're doing a mix down, the arrangement, you got a shit ton of things going on, you need a little bit more CPU power. You can go here. If you didn't do it when you started the project, tools, macros, and switch. Oops. Tools, macros, and switch smart disable for all plugins, and that turns it on for everything in the project. One thing to note that I've noticed with this though, on delays and long reverbs, if you have smart disable on, it will cut the delay short and it'll sound weird, and so that's what's going on there. So I don't ever turn it on for my delays and my reverbs, long reverbs. I just keep it off. Tip number four. Number four, the browser smart find function. So over here, if you want to look for something specific in your sample library, and you don't want to go through each folder and kind of sift through, just right click on whatever folder you want to search, smart find in this folder, say, yeah, Tams, boom. It'll take you to the first folder or sample with the word Tams in it, and then to sample through to the next, you hit F3, and you go back, you hit F2. So that's a nifty little tipperoo there. Number five is how to properly delete automation. Automation is the one thing in FL Studio that I wish they'd kind of update a little bit, but I'll get to that maybe later. But if you say you did an automation, so for example, I'm going to just do an automation for this kick here, automate the volume, and then you decide to scrap it. Sometimes if you just delete it here and also delete it here, for some reason, sometimes I've had cases where it will affect that sound still because it's not fully deleted into, so you want to delete it in a channel rack, on the playlist, and also here. So you go into current project, patterns, initialize controls, and it'll show up right there. That will actually delete it completely. So that's a little tip as well. Yeah, something useful to know for sure. I also have a bonus little tip for you here, a little bone screwski. And this one, so I actually just installed a new plugin, so it'll be perfect to show you. And this is how to put your plugins into your own customized folders. It really makes a difference when you're pulling up plugins. You know where everything's at. It's not this big fucking mess. So on the mixer, say for example, let's pull this over maybe so you can see it. So I have custom folders, so isotope, I have, you know, ozone 7, all my UAD stuff. UAD, I'm talking about how to change these specific folders and how to put plugins into them. And that's done in the browser. So you want to go to this little plugin guy. I installed a new plugin, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. This is what you want to do every time you install a new plugin, obviously. That do its thing. Super exciting, right? Come on, you can do it. Search the things. All right, once that's done, boom, go here. It is an effect, and it is new. It's the Brainworks sub filter that just recently came out. It's like the baby brother of the Subsynth by Brainworks. This is free on Plugin Alliance, so I suggest that you go grab it. Okay, so how to put this in a folder and kind of organize it so you can customize where everything's at. And that works the same for the channel rack when you're pulling up synths and samplers and whatever. See, I got a VST folder, native instruments. There you go. All right, so I have the sub filter. I'm just going to put this on an empty track. Make sure it loads. Okay. I need to activate it. I'll do that in a minute, but I just want to show you this first. So up here, this is an effect. And I'm just going to put it in my VST folder because I have all my other Brainworks stuff and things in here. So I'm going to click on VST. I'm going to go here and go add plugin database, flag as favorite. And it says it's going to be added to the subcategory VST. Boom, there it is. A little icon will show right there for it. Boom. That's what I do every time I install a new plugin. Now to make a new folder, super easy as well. All you do is go click on effects here at the top, go to open, and then you can just create a new folder and it'll automatically show up in FL Studio and you can put whatever the hell you want into it. Yeah. All right, so those are my 5 tips plus a bonus tip for you. And I think probably in the next episode, I'm going to go, we'll actually listen to some music and we'll kind of get more in the production process side of things. But I thought these 2 first videos were a good way to kind of get the ball rolling. So I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, comments, leave a comment below. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.